Welcome back everyone to Blender and Unreal Engine becoming a dungeon prop artist, and this is where we left it off. Alright, so let's now apply that bevel, so Control A, and let's come down to these actual rings that go around here. Let's apply the solidify with Control A. Let's press Control A again, all transforms, right click to origin to geometry, and now let's bring in another bevel. So I'm just looking, do I want a bevel going all the way around there? I don't think so, maybe not, because I don't think I want this bevel on the inside. So I'm going to take that off and I'm going to do this manually instead. So I'm just going to come in, Alt Shift click on each one of these like so. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to press Control B, just bevel them off slightly like so. And that looks a ton better. All right, let's press Alt H and we should have our top here, which is really good because now we can actually use this top to actually create the top and bottom of the barrel. So again, Control A, all transforms, right click to origin to geometry, pull it up, and now you will notice we do have a problem in that we have no faces on here. So how are we supposed to make some planks out of it? Well, if we come in, grab it, delete, you'll have one that says only faces. Delete that out of the way, and now you'll end up with something like this. And now what we need to do is just grab it all, press 7 to go over the top, minus off, 2 on each one, right click, and bridge edge loops. And now just fill these ones in. So F and F like so. Now what we need to do is just make the barrel top. So we can see here, if we grab all of these, right click, mock seam, and there we go. There's the top of our actual barrel, which is looking really cool. All right, so now let's split these off first. So L, 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 and L, Y, G, split them off, A, and let's push them in now. So if we come up to our individual origins, pressing S and Y, we should be able to bring them in like so. And then what we should be able to do, rather than use solidify, is just pull them down. So E, pull them down. And then what I tend to do is I tend to pull them out now. So in other words, S and Y, pull them together like so, and then just delete faces. And the reason I'm doing that is you're never going to see inside there, so you might as well just delete them. All right, finally then, Control A, all transforms, right click to origin to geometry, add modifier, bevel, turn it down, and then you want to put it on 0.003 like so. So basically this is what we've been doing all the way along, and this is basically the really fast workflow of pretty much doing all of the building that we're doing, especially when it comes to wooden objects and things like that. So let's now bring this down, put this in place. You can see how that's fitting in beautifully there. And now what I want to do is bring it to the bottom. So Shift D, bring it down to the bottom, and then R, Y, 180, spin it round, and then we're just going to pull it all into place. Now on the bottom, it would be fairly close to the actual bottom, so just be aware of that. All right, so finally then, let's just bring in the actual where the nozzle goes on for the drinking part of it. So all I'm going to do is just going to grab this, Shift S, cursor to selected, Shift A, let's bring in another cylinder. Should be okay on 16. I think we should be able to get away with that. And then all we're going to do is just make a real simple part where they put that nozzle on there. So S and Z, bring it up, put it on the top wherever you want it. And then all you're going to do is you're going to come, face select, grab this face, press the I button to bring it in, press E to bring it down, for extrude, I again, bring it in, and then E, bring it up like so. And then finally I, and then one more down like so. And there we go, something like that. Now let's right click and set origin to geometry and Control A, of course. I'll do that first actually. So Control A, all transforms, then right click, set origin to geometry, right click again, shade smooth, auto smooth on. And now finally let's bevel this off as well. So we're going to come in, bevel, and there we go, something like that. And that looks fine because it's going to be metal anyway, so that should be absolutely fine. Let's press Control A. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab all of this. I'm going to actually come up then to Object, Convert to Mesh, because we know then we can apply all of those modifiers if we've got any outstanding, and press Control J. And there we go. One barrel done, and you saw just how fast that actually was to actually do that. Okay, so now let's just reset the transformations, set origin to geometry, and move that to the side. Now let's create one of our crates. So what I tend to do when I'm creating anything like crates or even barrels, I try and use the mesh over and over again because I find that creating things like this, it makes it so much easier. One problem you will have with some types of crates is, as you'll see, creating the outside, so the blocks that go outside, is sometimes a bit tedious. So you're better off just getting the dimensions of the crate first, and then actually creating those little struts that go along the outside separately. It just makes it easier, as you'll see as we go along. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Shift S, cursor to world origin, and I'm going to bring in a plane. So I'm going to bring in a plane. It should be, square. I'm going to bring it down like so. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to press tab, and I'm going to bring it up to the right dimensions that I actually want. So something like those dimensions, I think should be absolutely fine. Bearing in mind that sometimes crates have things that, go from side to side. We might put those in going around the side, actually. I think we will. We didn't actually do it in the other part of it. All right, so now how do we actually create these outside parts that we actually want? Well, it's pretty similar to what we did before. So if I press Shift D, duplicate this, and if I press Control R, 2, left click, right click, and then Control R, 2, left click, right click, like so. And now let's just pull these out to the dimensions of 1. So if I go over the top, I'm going to press S and Y. Let's pull these out on medium point. So S and Y, pull them out to something like this. So if I have the blocks like that, come down over here and copy this. So Control C, grab these sides now. So Alt, Shift and click, S and X this time, press Enter, and then you just want to put it on the actual X. So hover over the X, Control V, and there you go. Now you've got your actual piece of wood. Now what you want to do is you want to actually take these and you want to again press Shift D, bring them up, L, delete, vertices, like so. All right, so these hopefully are going to be our sides of our actual crate. So now if I come in, put this on individual origins, press 7, press S, now you can see that we can pull those out like so, and that's looking pretty nice. All right, so now what we need to do is we need to pull these down. So I'm going to put these into place. I'm going to put them just at the top like so, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull these down like so. And there you go, the beginnings of our actual crate. And you can see, quite easy to do. All right, so one thing I'm thinking is I need the tops on now, so I can also create those pretty much in a similar way. So I'm going to grab this actual crate here. I'm going to press P, selection, just to separate it off. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually duplicate this now. So I'm going to press Shift D, Enter, hide one of them out of the way. So I've got one still behind it. And then I'm going to press Tab. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in 2 edge loops. So 2, left click, right click. And now let's press S and Z and pull those up, making sure we're on medium point. So S and Z, pull them up like so, just to the size that you actually want them. Yeah, something like that. And then what you can do is you can press right click and mark a seam, and then that's going to make it pretty easy to actually split them off. Now we can grab the bottom and the top, delete faces. We should end up with something like this. Now, actually marking seams didn't really help there, so I'll just split these off now, press delete and faces. Now at this point it's up to you if you want them a little bit further in, or if you're happy with how far they are out. Just make sure that you're happy with it before you actually solidify them. So Control A, all transforms, right click to origin to geometry, add in a modifier and bring in a solidify, even thickness on as always, and then just bring them in to where you want them. So something like that I think looks absolutely fine. Hover over it, Control A, and there we go. Now, if we press Alt H now, we can bring back our actual cube. Let's grab it, make it smaller. And there you go. You can see exactly what we're going to do with this. We're going to actually make the other parts of the crate. So now if I come into this, what I can do is I can press Control R, and I can bring in, let's say 3 that way. And I'm not going to actually mark seam. What I'm going to do instead now is go around the other way. So I'm going to press Control R, 3, left click, right click. These are the ones that I want actually going around here. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to now hide all of this out of the way, all the rest of it in other words. So if I press Shift H, hide everything else out of the way, and now I've got this. So what I want is I want these going around this way and these going up this way. So I'll do this one first. So if I grab this one to this one to this one, and then just press Y and hide them out of the way. And now I can go around the other side. So Alt, Shift and click, Alt, Shift, click. I'm basically splitting up each of these. Press Y, Alt H, and then all I need to do now is split these up as well. So, like so, and Y. Now, what did I just do there? If I grab the whole thing and I put this onto individual origins and I press S you can see basically I've split all of these sides up, I've split all of the top up, and what that enables me to do now is when we come back after on the next lesson, it solidify these, bevel them, and we'll get that nice wooden edging that we actually look for. It's a bit of a cheat actually, a bit of a hack, because we're actually joining these all together and just doing it a bit of an easier way. So I'm going to press Ctrl Z now, put them where they were. I'm going to go up, File, Save, and there we go. All right, everyone. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.